Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Wild Moon Lacquer. In today's video I am doing part 2 of my winter nail polish rack. This is a continuation of the collaboration, so make sure to check out down below for all of the other participants and their channels. In part 1 I did my top 32 picks for the winter season, and in this video I am doing a few of the whites and grays and a whole lot of toppers. So I do have those swatched a couple of different ways, so we can take a look at how those are going to play out over a couple of different shades. So let's go ahead and dig in. The first one is a white and it is from Bee's Knees Lacquer. This is Dreams That Are Answered 2.0, and you guys, look at this polish. This is a beautiful squishy white that is loaded with iridescent flakes and blue shimmer. This combination is so amazing, and look how big those flakies are. Just gorgeous. Here's how it looks in 2 coats with a glossy top coat, and as you can see, that blue shimmer is very pronounced in here. You do get a lot of those flakies out, and yeah, this is just such a beautiful wintry vibe to me. So can't wait to get that one on my nails. So that first white is Bee's Knees Lacquer, Dreams That Are Answered 2.0. The next one is a creamier white. This is Dawn Diva KK Slider. I believe I got this in a mystery box, and this is another one that has beautiful iridescent flakies, although this time that white base is a little bit on the creamier side, so it'll be a little bit more opaque. Here's how it looks in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. The flakies on this one are a different shift than the one that was in the Bee's Knees Lacquer. In this polish, I see them going to a pink red. There is some green in there and gold, and as you can see, it is a little bit more on the opaque side. So that one was Dawn Diva's KK Slider. Next up is one that I think is technically a very, very light pink, but I decided to put it in with my whites because it is such a pale shade. This is Sweet Alyssum, and this one originally came out in HHC for June 2021. And this one is such a soft shade of pink. I actually think some of the pink might be coming from that pink shimmer that you're seeing, but this is another that is just jam-packed full of flakies, and there you can see that whitish base that it has. And these, I think, are yet another type of flaky. Oh yeah, absolutely a different type of flaky than the previous 2 polishes. So here's how that one looks in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. This is another one that has a very nice 2-coat formula. I think on my nails I should be fine with just the 2 coats. And I love that pink glow in this. It is so adorable. It's still wintry, and then you have those beautiful flakies. So that was Garden Path Lacquer's Sweet Alyssum. Now we're getting into some white shimmers. This first one is from Ethereal, and this one is Opalescent. This one, I think, was part of the Lacquered in White Facebook group, so it was a group custom for March 20... I think that's supposed to say 2020. And this one is a beautiful white shimmer. I will say I have sort of a love-hate relationship with this kind of a shimmer because I adore them in the bottle. But for myself, I often am not in love with how they look on my nails. So I want to try to wear some of these this season and see if I can't find a way to wear them that I enjoy. Most of the time, I think my issue is that they just come off on me looking like my staining is showing through, because I constantly have nail polish on my nails and it just has that yellow tinge, which is not very flattering, and I don't like it peeking through these lighter bases. So maybe I'll try a few different squishy bases under them, a squishy white, maybe a blurring base coat, a solid white, and just see which one I like the best. But this one is a gorgeous shimmer polish. Here's how it looks in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. This one is a little bit squishy, but it's honestly not as sheer as I was expecting it to be. So it should be nice and ethereal in 2 coats. But again, we'll have to see how I end up wearing this on its own, or maybe layered over something. It's possible this could make a nice topper over other colors as well. So that was Ethereal's Opalescent. And we are jumping straight into another Ethereal. This one is Simply Meant to Be. This one I think was in the Mysteries for Nightmare Before Christmas. Either that or it was the one that was not a Mysteries, but I don't honestly remember. But we are dealing with another shimmer, this time in a larger particle and a completely different shift. This one has very prominent shifts from gold to green with some warmer orange there at the edges. This is another one that I will have to play around with how I wear it, because I am wondering if the yellow might end up looking a little bit off on me because I do have the staining on my nails, but that could also just be my own self-consciousness showing through. So I'll have to play around with how I do end up wearing this, but I mean, look at this. It is so pretty. This one is one of the more sheerer polishes, so I do think this would make a good topper. This is in 2 coats, as are all of these today. But yeah, very prominent, warm glow, like sunshine glowing off of fresh snow. So very wintry. I would say I might try playing around with this over a lighter shade. We'll see how I end up wearing that one, but another glowy polish. So that one was Ethereal's Simply Meant to Be. Next up, we have one from Polish, and this one is White Hot. This one was a bespoke batch polish, and this one is another sort of creamy white base. We have these smaller, like crushed flakies that I'm seeing in mostly a bright pink and some purple. There is some other shifts to like green and gold at the extreme angles there. Here it is in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. This one, I will say, is a little bit more subtle on that shift, that glow. This is another one, though, that I think I might build up to 3 coats on my own nails or see how it ends up looking. Or I might try wearing this over a cream to amplify the opacity. But that glow is beautiful, and I want to see how that looks on the nail. So that was Polish's White Hot. Next up is a very creamy shade from Glam Polish, and this one is Angel in the Snow. Perfect for winter. This one is a creamy white with some silver holographic glitter and a beautiful red glow. And I do believe that has some shifts in it. Yeah, you can see some green and gold popping up there at the edges of the bottle. Here's how that one looks in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. And yeah, those glitters sparkle so beautifully in this one. It is perfect for the winter season. This is one I definitely have to get on my nails. It is so pretty. And what I've been enjoying with these white shades is wearing them like I am with my current mani and having them as an accent nail. I really like how that ends up looking. But yeah, that one is very beautiful. So that was Glam Polish, Angel in the Snow. Next up is one that we're going to look at on the swatch ring here. This one is another polish, and this one is called Zecora. And this is one of my favorite finishes. It is a acrylic base, and it is loaded with these crushed flakies. I think this one actually has a mix of iridescent and multichrome. So you have this beautiful speckled look, and I love how this ends up looking. I love wearing this in nearly every single season. For spring, I love that these flakies can kind of look like crushed leaves or petals. In the fall season, especially when you get them in the fall colors, they look like crushed up fall leaves. And then in the winter, it just gives this beautiful speckled look that can kind of look like fallen leaves onto fresh snow. It's beautiful, and this one I feel is fairly unique because it does have the mix of multichrome and iridescent. Here's how it looks. I'm not actually sure how many coats were on this. I did swatch this a while ago, so it's either 2 or 3 coats with a glossy top coat. But look how beautiful that ends up turning out. I just adore how that looks. It's got that speckled look, but you do have a little bit of shape from the flakies. Cannot wait to wear that one. That one is Polish's Zecora. Next up is an even more packed flaky polish. This comes from Painted Polish, and this is Bad A Beauty. And this time we're dealing with these multichromatic flakies that are mostly in like swampy green, gold, and bronze. These are very dense in there, but that I would say is probably the biggest flaky that you're going to find in here. But this was a beautiful 2-coat formula. This is it with a glossy top coat. And again, I just love how this ends up looking. So that is another one that I'm excited to try, maybe as an accent nail like I did here with the Zombie Claw. That is Snow Leopard Cuddles right there on the accent nail. And I'll have all of the polish on my nails listed down below in the description. But yeah, love that one. That one turned out to be even better on the nail than I was anticipating. So that was Painted Polish, Bad A Beauty. Next up is another one that we're going to look at on the swatch ring here. This is a Lollipop Posse lacquer called Temperance. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is this very light, like taupey gray squishy base loaded with a shifting shimmer. As you can see there, you've got that electric green, you've got red and gold, plus it's got iridescent glitter. Another of my favorite things to see in polish. And this is how it looks on the nail. A nice soft gray. And in person, it definitely has that neutral, dusty, taupish lean to it. And again, I don't recall if this is 2 or 3 coats because I did swatch this quite a number of years ago at this point, and I still have yet to get this on my nails. So I need to get this on my fingers this season. but that was Lollipop Posse Lacquer Temperance. And for those of you that might not be aware, Lollipop Posse Lacquer is the old brand of Garden Path lacquer. So they changed from Lollipop to Garden Path. Next up, we are officially into our grays. This is Different Dimension Cold Hands Warm Heart. This originally came out in Polish Pickup for December 2021, and this is a very light, soft gray. It is loaded with a gorgeous shifting shimmer in a larger particle. You can see some vibrant pinks, some orange, gold, and green, plus it's got this very small holographic glitter. This one has so many sparkles and twinkles. This is it in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. This has such a creamy formula as well. I definitely don't think anybody would need a 3rd coat for this one. It is nice and opaque. I love all the sparkles and the twinkles, and that warm shifting shimmer is beautiful against this light gray base. So that one was Different Dimension Cold Hands Warm Heart. Another soft gray comes from Ethereal, and this one is called Heavenly. This one originally came out in Polish Pickup for November 2020, and this is another one that has a warm glow in it. A very light base with this one as well, although you will see on the swatch it definitely shows up as a gray. And then you have that beautiful red to orange to green to gold shifting shimmer. Look at that green. Wow. So here's that one in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. This one is definitely more opaque than, what was that other one? This one here, which was Simply Meant to Be. So, I mean, different formulas altogether, but much more of a creamy base on this one. I think most people would be just fine with 2 coats. And I mean, look at that glow. Wow, it is so beautiful. You can definitely tell that that base is a light gray. This is another stunner of a polish. Might have to get that on my nails sooner rather than later. So that is Ethereal's Heavenly. Now for a silver that I stuck in among the grays. This is Emily Damali's Animated Hearts. And with this we are dealing with a lot of silver holographic glitter in a variety of sizes. I think you can see some of those larger glitter particles there. I think there's also some iridescent flakies in there. This one is a stunning, very sparkly combination, perfect for winter. Here it is in just 2 coats with a glossy top coat. Now, this one I think might have topper possibilities. As you can see, it does have a clear base, but even on its own, packed on the nail in 2 coats, I think this would be such a fun accent nail. It has all the rainbows in it. There on the nail, I think you can see more of those flakies. So that was Emily Damali's Animated Hearts. Next up is the last gray before we get into all of the toppers. This is another polish, and this one is Beskar. This one is another bespoke batch, and this is the darkest gray that I have for this video. This one is a beautiful shimmer polish. Again, this time we have shifts from blue to this purpley fuchsia to gold and green. Look at that. Here it is in 2 coats with a glossy top coat. Like I said, this is definitely the darkest shade, a true gray, and I love this shimmer against it. This is one that I think is going to be very shifty depending on your light source as well. Currently with this lighting, you're seeing mostly that bluish purple, but you can see a little bit of fuchsia on the edges of the nail. In person, I can see different shades of purple and blue. So yeah, this is another one that I think is going to be absolutely perfect for winter. So that last gray was Polish's Beskar. All right, now we're moving into our flaky toppers. Yes, I have quite a lot of them. I pulled 10 flaky toppers, and I do have even more toppers that I want to try to wear this season, but they aren't flakies, so we'll do those in a different video. I wanted to compare apples to apples, so all of these are going to be the flakies, and honestly, I could have pulled even more. I know I'm missing some of my fancy gloss toppers, but let's go ahead and see how these compare. I do have them swatched over 2 different shades, half clear, half the color of choice. So we have the China Glaze Head to Taupe as our neutral, and then Color Club's Nail Robbie as our dark midnight blue. And the first topper that we're going to look at is Lacquer is in the Air, and this is Tidal Fall. This one I will say is one of the sparsest flaky toppers, but as you can see there are a lot of beautiful colors in it. Look at that beautiful larger one stuck to the side of the bottle. We've got different shades of blue, green, pink, and purple. I think there's also a little bit of gold and green at the edges of the bottle. So here's how it looks half on its own, half over head to taupe. And yeah, definitely a very sparse topper, especially on its own, but once you put it over a color, you can see that it adds this sort of ghostly opalescence over whatever color you choose. And then this is it over Nail Robbie from Color Club. So again, half on its own, you can barely see it, but then over a darker color, they start to pop beautifully with all the different colors of the rainbow. So like I said, that one is definitely one of the most sparse that I have. I'm not honestly sure if I will end up keeping it. I'll have to do a little bit more comparisons with other flaky toppers that I already own and see if this one stands out. If the shifts are actually different than other flakies that I own, I might go ahead and keep it. Otherwise, this one could get the axe, but we'll have to see how it goes. But that was Lacquer's in the Air Tidal Fall. Next up is DRK Nails, and this is Time is Fixed. This one came out in HHC for October 2021, and I do have these sort of color organized, so this is actually the closest that I pulled to Lacquer's in the Air, but as you can see, these have a completely different shift in them. I think this one has at least 2, if not more, kinds of shifting flakies. You can see a lot of warmer tones in this one. You've got that sort of an orange. You've got a blurple popping up there nicely as well. And this one is a little bit more densely packed, although not the densest of these toppers. So here's how it looks half on its own, half over head to taupe. So you can see those blurples and the orange pinks. Still a little bit sparse, but it does have a little bit more flakies than the previous one. And here it is over Nail Robbie from Color Club. And there you can definitely see how much you can get out. That is still just one coat. But still on its own, it is virtually invisible. So I would definitely recommend these over other colors, unless you do want that ghostly ethereal look. But that one was DRK Nails, Time is Fixed. Next up is Lynn B Designs, and this one is Festive Pud. This one has greens and yellow and gold. I'm actually seeing some blues in there as well. This one is also not the densest of the flakies that I have, but I do love that bright green that you're seeing. Here it is half on its own, half over head to taupe. You can see a lot of those vibrant green shifts in those flakies. And then half over Nail Robbie. So again, on this one, it's not super noticeable all on its own, but you can definitely see it when it is over a darker color. So that one was Lynn B Designs, Festive Pud. Next up is one of the densest. This is Great Lakes Lacquer Broken Sunshine. And I was actually starting to second guess myself if this was meant as a topper because it is so dense. I think this is one of the few of these toppers that you could wear all on its own. I mean, look how packed this is. It's also got kind of this creamy base. And I don't know if that's just because it is so packed or if there is something else in here. But I mean, look at that. I'm sure there's other particles in here too besides those iridescent flakies. I think on the wand there you can see some of the maybe holographic bits that are in there. But a beautiful mix. So here's that one half over head to taupe. And yeah, you can definitely see those holographic flakies over that. That I think is a beautiful combination. And that's how it looks half on its own. And then half over Nail Robbie. Again, you can absolutely see all of those beautiful holographic particles as well as those warm flakies. So definitely one of the densest that we've seen so far. So that was Great Lakes Lacquer Broken Sunshine. Next up we have one from Wildflower Lacquer. This is Snow Kissed, and I've actually already worn this in 2 different Mandys. So this has been one that I've been enjoying over a lot of different colors. This one has kind of these mylar type iridescent flakies, so a different shift altogether than what we were seeing in Broken Sunshine. We're seeing more pastels, so some pinks, blues, golds, but not the warmer shades that were in Broken Sunshine. This is another one of the rather dense toppers. Here it is half on its own, half over head to taupe from China Glaze. And I want to say there's also like a little bit of a golden shimmer that you can see there against that lighter color. And you can definitely see that gold against Nail Robbie from Color Club. But look how dense it is all on its own. Very beautiful. I think this is another one that you could probably build up kind of on its own. I don't know that you would ever get super, super opaque, but I think it would look beautiful on the nail. You would at least know it was there compared to some of our more sheer toppers. But that is a beautiful one. And like I said, I have already worn this 2 different times. That is Wildflower Lacquer's Snow Kissed. Next up is one from Emily Damali, and this is Cohesion. We're dealing with more rainbows, although just to do a quick little comparison to that Wildflower Lacquer. Hopefully on camera you can see some difference. I would say that the Wildflower Lacquer is a little bit more mylar, where the one from Emily Damali is a little bit more of a sheer iridescence. And they do have some different shifts in there as well. I think we're dealing with a little bit more green in the Emily Damali. So here's how it looks half on its own, half over head to taupe. Yeah, look at those colors. You're dealing with little rainbow iridescent confettis, and you don't have that gold shift that was in the Wildflower Lacquer. So that is another one that I definitely want to wear. I love the mix of colors. And here's how it looks half over Nail Robbie. Yeah, that is like an opal, black opal. That is so pretty. Another one that I definitely want to try to wear over a few different colors, that is Emily Damali's Cohesion. Next up, we have one from Raechel-polishwithrae, and this is Living Fire. This one originally came out in an HHC release, and this one has a lot of different particles in it as well. Some smaller crushed flakies and some purples. I think there's also some holographic micro glitter in here. And this one is pretty dense, especially for a smaller particle. So here it is half over head to taupe, half on its own. You can definitely see the little particles, although in just a singular coat, on its own anyways, it is still pretty sparse. But there, once you put it over a color, you can see how much you're getting out. You have all of those smaller rainbows and the rainbows from the hollow glitter as well. And then here it is half over Nail Robbie from Color Club. Yeah, look how gorgeous that ends up looking. But again, half on its own, you can barely see it, but once you put it over a color, bam, so many rainbows. So that one was Raechel-polishwithrae Living Fire. Next up is one of my favorite polishes as a topper. This is from Glam Polish. This one is I Will Keep These Lights Up Till the Day I Die. I think this might have been a Stranger Things collection, and unfortunately I think this was a limited release. I say unfortunately because this is one of my favorite toppers from this brand because it is so unique. It not only has those beautiful iridescent flakies, but it has these like white gold metallic, not your standard metallic flakies, but actually like gold flake. Those are those ones here, and I know in the bottle it's kind of hard to see the difference between those and a standard golden flake, but on the nail, what I found was so fascinating is there's a completely different texture to a gold foil flake as opposed to a gold flaky, if that makes any sense. So the real gold ones have this like raw metal texture. It's really unusual. This one also has almost this like greenish tinged base, although I don't really think that's going to come across on the nail. There's also holographic glitter. So here it is, half on its own, half over a color, and there you can see all of those golden flakes. So I don't know if on camera you can tell the difference texturally, but in person, like I said, they just have a completely different look than a metallic gold flaky. These are real gold flake, like white gold flake. There you can even tell on its own. You can absolutely see them when you layer it over a bare nail, but there it is half over head to taupe and then half over Nail Robbie. And yeah, especially over Nail Robbie, you end up with this amazing galaxy look on the nail. That is just so stunning. So another polish that I do want to try to wear at least once this season, although I'm still not sure what color I want to try to wear it over. Maybe a dark blue like Nail Robbie. I really liked how that turned out. So that was Glam Polish. I Will Keep These Lights Up Till the Day I Die. All right, just 2 more. The next one is one of the densest toppers. This is Bee's Knees Lacquer Patio Furniture. And you guys, holy Toledo. I accidentally ended up buying this one twice because I just had my jaw on the floor when it was available, and it is so absolutely stunning. It is full of these massive iridescent flakies. There's also iridescent glitter in here. There's also something that is sheening like that silver gleam in here. I don't know if that's a shimmer component or what that is, but this thing gleams so amazingly well. Perfect for winter. I can't wait to try this over some colors. Here's how it looks half on its own, half over head to taupe. As you can see, the shifts in this one lean more on the warm side, so you're seeing a lot of oranges, and you can see there on the color side as well as on its own those beautiful micro glitters and that sheen from that shimmer. And then here it is half on its own, half over nail Robbie. And yeah, look at those warm tones there. Absolutely gorgeous. So that was Bee's Knees Lacquer Patio Furniture. And then the last flaky topper that I have comes from Sassy Sauce, and this is My Eyes Are Up Here. This is another fairly dense polish because there's a lot going on besides the flakies. This has hollow and shimmer. You've got that beautiful pink glow. Intermixed in there is a beautiful hollow and these purple to pink to blue flakies. So here it is half on its own, half over head to taupe. And I mean, look how it transforms head to taupe. You get this amazing pink glow. You almost can't even see the taupe base underneath it. And you get that amazing hollow. And then here it is half on its own, half over nail Robbie. And again, that pink glow completely transforms this with those flakies and the hollow. Wow. So this is definitely one of the most transformative because it has so much going on that it adds to any color that you put this over. I do think over a nice soft taupe, this would look amazing. A perfect neutral, but with pizzazz. So that last topper was Sassy Sauce, My Eyes Are Up Here. And there we have it. That was part 2 of my winter rack collaboration. Again, since this is a collaboration, make sure to check out the list down below for all of the other participants and their channels, and make sure to check back for part 3. I think next I'm going to be doing some mainstreams. I do have a whole tote full, just a little tote full, like a shoebox size, but it's still a tote full of mainstream polishes that I do want to wear. As always, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. Hopefully you had a good time. Again, a huge thank you to Amanda from the Nail Polish Hound for putting together the little thumbnails that we use, and to Nurse Jackie for putting together the list that you'll find down below for all of the other participants and their channels. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in that next one.